Alright guys, welcome back to the shop. Still plugging away on the Blazer. Today we're going to be taking care of the brakes. More specifically, we're going to be taking care of the brake master cylinder and brake booster. So, as long as I've owned this truck, the brakes have always been a little bit lackluster. Lots of pedal effort for minimal stopping. So that makes me think that the booster is kind of bad, and I've been putting off replacing it because it's still drivable. It just wasn't the best. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to replace the brake master cylinder because I don't know, it's probably original. So I figured it would be a good time to do that now. So yeah, let's get started. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to take the brake master off of this assembly. All we've got to do is remove those two lines. That's going to be done with, a line wrench, flare nut wrench, whatever you want to call it. You can use a regular wrench, but there's a chance you'll round it off. Then once we get that off, we'll take those bolts off, or nuts rather, and then the whole master assembly should just come off. Then after we do that, we've got to unbolt the booster from the inside and remove the vacuum hose that goes to the carburetor, or in my case, throttle body. Oh, and if you're wondering why there's no fender on the side of this, I didn't just take it off for this video. You'll have to watch one of my older videos. I basically just redid a bunch of body work, redid the rocker panel, and to do that, you need to get the door and the fender off. So while it's off, I'm doing all this other work. So enjoy the ease of viewing. It'll be a little bit more difficult on your car. Anywho, time to get the lines off. This particular one uses a 9/16 wrench for both of these. So we'll crack that. Hopefully this doesn't get stuck to that, or that'll be a bit of a bummer. But all we're going to do is remove this guy and be prepared for the geyser. This master cylinder is full of fluid, so it will definitely drip out. I've got a catch basin, also known as the top to a tub of Bondo, and now that it's been cracked loose, you can use a regular wrench. But be prepared for the drips. Surprisingly few drips. I've also got some plugs that came out of a different brake system I did. These will be nice to keep the brake pipes from, dripping everywhere. Because the brake pipes are going to stay in place. There. I'm going to put that down there. Sorry, that'll catch the drips down there. Gonna stick that on there like so. Perfect. That is going to be good. Now we can get the rear off. Same rule applies. Crack that loose. Then you can use a regular wrench, open-end wrench that is. There. Okay. So, there we go. Jam this plug over here. There we go. And before I drip too much brake fluid on everything, not that it matters all that much, we'll get these guys off. Coincidentally, this is also 9/16. And then I can just take this off to the side and let it drip out into a drip pan. So that's it for the removal of that. Next step, take a little screwdriver. I'm going to pull that and then disconnect that hose. With that, I've got my highest of quality Harbor Freight Quinn screwdrivers. I got them on sale. Give it a twist, break it free, and then you should be able to slide that off nice and easily. I'll sit nice and easily. This right here is how you stab yourself in the finger with a screwdriver, so be very cautious. I think it's been on there a while. Just come. There we go. Okay, that is off. This is going to need to get attached to the new booster. The booster. That's the vacuum port. This is what gives power brakes your power. So now we just got to undo the bolts on the firewall. I think there's about 6 of them. And then also disconnect the pedal from the push rod on the inside. Okay, so we're under the dashboard. It's a little hard to see, but that right there is the brake pedal. You're going to see that nut and bolt right there. You've got to take that off. That holds the little clip that adjusts the brake light switch, or that goes to the brake light switch. Once you take that off, then there's a little clip, and then you can take the push rod off of the brake pedal lever. So a little hard to get in there, but it is doable. So you just undo that, and then the push rod is free, and then we can take the brake booster out off the firewall. So got the little plate removed. It was mounted to that screw. Took a little 9/16 wrench to get that off. Push rod is sitting on that pin above it, held in with a little clip. Just pull the little clip, and then the push rod should come off. All right, push rod disengaged. Pedal is free. So now we can pull the booster off. One other thing to note, make sure you disconnect your battery when you're doing this, because the second you take that plate off of the brake pedal, your brake lights are going to go on, and if you leave it for a while, you're going to kill your battery. So it's best to disconnect your battery. That goes without saying, really, when you're doing any work on cars. Now we take, lo and behold, a 9/16 wrench. And we're going to undo the 6 nuts that go into here. These should all be captive studs. If any of them spin freely, we've got a bigger problem because I don't know how to get to them. Okay, got all those guys undone. And now we just lift the booster out. And there we go. I got stuck on the pin again. All right, now we got it out, and here is the new one. So all we've got to do now is transfer the push rod bit from one to the other. And I assume this nut is for some other situation. All right, just had to switch the push rod from here to here. This one came with a jam nut. I don't think we need that because these are the same length. So now that that's all together, As they say in the repair manuals, installation is the reverse of removal. So I'm going to get that in and then we'll catch up. Got her all bolted up. Now all we've got to do is connect that hose from before. There we go. Now we're just going to bolt the master cylinder on. Now, if you just needed to do the booster, you could just flop the old master over to the side and not disconnect it. But I've got a shiny new master cylinder ready to go. Pull the little protective cover off. That keeps the little push rod in place so it doesn't fall out. And then we just bolt it on. Simple as that. Look at these shiny new parts going in. So pretty. And there we go. All right, so got that all set up. And you could just hook up the lines, fill it, and try to chase the bubble out. But this whole master cylinder is dry right now. So what we're going to want to do is bench bleed it, or in this case, still bleed it on the car. You can just put this in a vise and do this, but I think this might be a little bit easier doing it in the car. So I've got a bench bleeding kit, has the fittings right there. We run some hoses to the respective reservoirs, and we're just going to cycle the brakes. It's going to pump all the bubbles out into the reservoir, and then just keep going until we have nice, smooth, fresh fluid. All right, successful bench bleed. We don't have, basically I was just going until I wasn't seeing any more bubbles. So now it's just a matter of hooking both of these guys back up. Now the thing with flare nuts is you don't want to make them too tight, just good and snug to make that seal. If you go too far, you can risk damaging stuff. But that is it for that. Now all we've got to do is bleed the brakes normally. So for that, it's the normal crack a bleeder, let it squirt out, or have someone else and kind of do a pump, pump, open, close, pump, pump, open, close. Do that till you're satisfied there's no more air bubbles. As far as air bubbles go, there's gonna be a little bit right there, and you got to chase those all the way through. Technically, you probably only need to do one wheel up front and one wheel up back, but if you're in there, you might as well just bleed all four. So that is it. All right, that's going to be it for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Look at these shiny new parts going in. So pretty.